What's going on, YouTube fans, YouTube fiends, YouTube friends, YouTube family? I'm back. Said I was going to be doing my Love and Hip Hop Atlanta review today, and I am. I know last week I missed it. I missed the last episode. I just had a lot going on last Monday, so I couldn't really get to doing it like how I wanted to do it, so I just didn't do it. I'm still debating on reviewing Real Housewives of Potomac. I want to really badly. I just don't know if people will watch it. Even though I know that, Real Housewives has just as a big of audience as Love and Hip Hop, if not bigger. But I don't know. I don't know. But let's just get into the episode and let's get down to the nitty gritty of it all. The episode starts off with just basically everyone watching the George Floyd verdict. You see all of our stars, our castmates. They're all just at home waiting to hear the verdict and whatnot. It's very surreal to see all the things that we've already been through, to see them replaying back for us, like we're just not seeing it. Very interesting, very interesting. Moving on. Next, we see Rashida and Kirk. Rashida is showing Kirk. She's bringing him to the new press location that they have. I'm not sure where it's going to be at, because if her first one's in Buckhead, then her second one either be in Buckhead or she probably like move it to like the city or something like Midtown or something like that. But she's showing Kirk the progress she's made. Of course, if it's not completely done, it's not enough for Kirk. So Kirk tells her, he thought that it was, he says he thought that she should have been done with it. And I'm like, well, this is like a store she's opening, so she can't just like, wave a wand and get it all together. It's like you're not there helping her, and it seems like y'all don't really have any other help. So, I'm pretty sure Rashida did what she could do while you were going, Kirk. Like she said, riding around on motorcycles and motorbikes through Harlem. She tells him that how she's going to be throwing a little family barbecue to sort of, to extend an olive branch, basically, to to her sister Booby and her and the rest of her family who are estranged. Next, we see Safari and Erica with the baby. They're at the park. This is one of the only times that you really see the two of them together, and they're both smiling and happy and look like that they're actually enjoying themselves, or at least trying to. Safari mentions that he was wrong about the tweets, and he apologizes for the way he's been acting and dealing with Erica. And it's just so funny how all it really took was for Safari to really, get a good talking to from his mom, from his Jamaican mother at that. And, he sort of just kind of got in, you can definitely tell that, his mama told him to do something. So he's doing his best to put on his big boy pants and be a good player. But you shouldn't really have to do that with the person who you are married with. It should just come natural. You really shouldn't have to be talked to by someone or be forced to just to be present. That really shouldn't be too much of a hassle. He tells Erica that the marriage is exactly what she thought it was, and he says that he will start doing better, and he and that he's working on himself. She says that she really sees herself with him, and that she only really married Safari because she loved him. Obviously, because people get married all the time and not really realize that they don't, that they shouldn't do it, and it seems to me that Erica really does love Safari, and she really thinks very highly of him. It's not just like, oh, the dick is good and now I'm stuck with 2 babies with him. He's like, no, it's like, you know, I can't really leave him because it's, aside from even the kids, it's like my, you know, her entire heart, body, soul, and mind is into Safaree. So it, you know, it would be very hard for her, I feel like, to just leave on her own. Very, very, very hard. Next we see Yandy at a photo shoot for her new products. I'm not sure what it is. I really didn't get it. I don't know if it's clothes. I don't know if it's like skincare product. I'm not really sure because I just saw the kids posing, so I'm not sure what she was selling. But apparently Yandy has a new company with a new product that I don't know what it is. Anyway, and Infinity's there. She's part of the photo shoot. Yandy says how, you know, when Infinity first came down, they were still trying to figure out what they're going to do with her. But now it just seems like Infinity is just sort of there to stay. It wants to stay, and you know that's sort of not going to happen. Basically, is what Yandy is alluding to. Mendeecees, he suggests that they can, you know, maybe get her a apartment, and then after 2 months, you know, of seeing how she does, you know, will she get a job, blah, blah, blah. You know, because they're basically saying, you know, we are willing to help you. We just don't want you in our house. So we're willing to get you an apartment, pay the rent for 2 months while you get on your feet, and then we'll see where we can go from that. And to me, that didn't really sound too bad. That didn't sound unfair. That didn't sound, you know, like anything that a normal person wouldn't think, okay, you know, this is something I can work with. They both agree to have the conversation together. Because Yandy obviously does not do good with dealing with Infinity on her own. But Mendeecees, he also reminds Yandy that, you know, this is something that you created, therefore, you know, I'm just really there for support. Like, and that is true. You know, it's like I can't really tell you I don't want you here because I did not bring you here. So, you know, it's just sort of like a it's like you know, it's basically like a stranger on the street just telling you get out of my house, coming from Mendeecees. And I get that's where he's coming from, because that's sort of how Infinity is to him, a stranger on the street. So they definitely have to figure out how to work that imbalance, because it's real. It's definitely real. Next we see everyone arriving to a yacht. Apparently it's Carly's birthday. She brings her daughter, and Carly has been bringing her daughter around a lot more. I guess her daughter has, you know, she's gotten older, and Carly doesn't really mind her daughter being on the Love and Hip Hop scene. We see that her daughter revealed on the family reunion Love Hip Hop ended, they were filming in Arizona, that, you know, she really just wants that, you know, that she really wanted to spend more time with Carly. That's what she wanted, which makes a lot of sense when you think about it, because Carly doesn't really seem like, at least I'm sure the older her daughter got, the more Carly felt like she didn't have to be there, and the more Carly was just, you know, doing her thing, because Carly has been on Love and Hip Hop since 2011, 2012. So 10, 11 years, you know, your mom has been on this reality show, and ever since Carly's been on the show, she's been wilding. So, you know, you can only imagine if it's been 10 years now, and her daughter cannot be no older than like 27. I would give 27. She cannot be like 28. So I'm sure like her daughter was probably like 16 or 17 at the time when Carly first got on the show. You know, and I'm pretty sure that she didn't. And well, it's obvious that we didn't really see Carly with her daughter, because Carly was always on Love and Hip Hop, and you never saw the daughter. So, makes sense that the daughter will want to spend more time with her mom. Everyone's there. Jock's there. Yandy's. I don't know why Jock. It's very weird. Where I guess Jock and it's just weird. But I guess as adults, and I guess as reality castmates, it's just something you can look aside. But I'm like, Carly, you used to fuck Jock. Why is he even there with his bitch? Like, you and Jock aren't even cool. You and Kendra shouldn't be cool, because you used to fuck her husband. I don't know if they got married. I don't know, but it's just weird that Jock and it's even weirder when, you know, when the person who you used to sleep with can't help but always bring up that y'all used to sleep together. It's like, even though you're not doing it in person, it's like Jock did it during the confessional, and it was like, Jock, we get it. You and Carly did whatever y'all did. What does it have to do with the prostitute in China and what's going on with her Lamar? Really, it's just very odd. But anyway, these idiots went to Lake Lanier. I don't know why they went to Lake Lanier. Like, ironically, they made it out alive. Obviously, you need to have a full-fledged camera crew and production crew to go Lake Lanier to make it out alive, because I'm telling you, if you're from Atlanta, if you're from fucking Georgia or just the Atlanta area, you know about Lake Lanier. You know what it's given and you know what it's got. So when I heard that they were at Lake Lanier, I was like, y'all couldn't find no, well, of course not, they're in Atlanta, so they're not gonna find nowhere else to like ride a yacht or even a boat if it's not Lake Lanier, unless they go to like Savannah or something. Spice starts talking to Yandy about how, you know, oh yeah, that was nothing. Yandy starts talking to Infinity and I'm sorry. Yandy starts talking to sorry, I was thinking about something. Kendra and Sierra about the situation with Infinity. And so she basically asks them, you know, so do I feel or am I wrong for wanting to you know, have this person, you know, not in my house, you know, because it's disrupting my peace. And, you know, and Sierra, you know, Sierra said yeah. And I don't really know. You know, it's like 50-50. It's like, it's not your fault, Yandy, that Infinity took the route she made, decided to, you know, go on live or go on the internet and threaten to write a tell-all book. It's not her fault that she started, you know, I mean, it's not your fault that she started dating this man, this odd man, who was telling her all these crazy things about you and your family. So, it just, I feel like it's, what makes the situation so bad is that Mendices, and as much as I do agree with Mendices, because like I've said before in my previous videos, anyone who, if my significant other adopted a child while I was while I was incarcerated and I came back home, and or even not a child, just a, you know, I mean, Yandy got almost Yandy adopted a teenager. So when you do, you know, and I think Yandy was fostering her. I don't think she adopted. I think Yandy was fostering her. But it's just regardless. I feel like if Mendices was more accepting and was more willing to get past the idea of, oh, I didn't bring her here, then I think that it would be a lot more easier for Yandy to digest and to swallow. And because they would be able to both have sort of the same mindset. But Mendices is just sort of not even checked out, but he's not even checked in because he doesn't know if the girl, didn't invite the girl, don't know who the girl is. Meanwhile, Yandy has lived with the girl for years, knows all about her, and has, you know, and has this connection with her. So I think that's where, and Yandy doesn't want to say that, of course, because she doesn't want to make Mendices look bad. But it's very obvious that, you know, Mendices is allowing Yandy to take on all of the Infinity baggage, even though Yandy was the one who brought all the baggage there. But he really is just allowing her to just sit in it. And you can tell it's really taking a toll on her more than it is him, because she's emotionally involved. You know, she's legally involved. So, yeah. Carly's daughter, oh, we could skip that. Yandy and Spice, they started talking about Carly needing a man. Now, funny that Spice brought this up, because this is Carly every season. But Spice just basically said, you know, why does Carly always need to have a man by her side? She said, if I went through what I went through with Mo last year or the year before, I wouldn't want to be next to a man for, you know, for a while, which is very true. But it's just some women are just, you know, they need a man, or just people. Certain people, no matter how bad their relationships are, they have to get into another one because that's all they know. That's all they're used to, is that, you know, is that feeling of someone being around, that feeling of not being lonely, that feeling of just always of of comfort there, with knowing that you can just go to a place of comfort with someone. Whether it's good comfort or bad comfort, sometimes it's just still good because you know it's there. And Carly's obviously one of those people. Ironically, she has only one child. She's obviously smart with her damn body, as far as that part. But yeah, it is just very odd that Carly jumps from relationship to relationship. I've just always looked at it as if she just needed storylines, and these guys were just storylines placed specifically for Carly. But after the Mo thing, and after the whole marriage and the abuse and the therapy and the fake throwing up, and it was a lot. It was like, well, is this something that you really do, Carly, or is this just something for the show? You really don't know. Um, Somehow though, we get into Yandy and Mendici's conversation that they had in Arizona on couples retreat or couple or whatever, when they asked Mendicis if he would hold Yandy down the same way she held him down in jail, and of course this idiot said he doesn't know, or he said no, and I'm just and I just when I first heard that, I was like, wow, you should have lied. I get it, honesty is the best policy, but you should have lied. You really should have lied. You really should have lied. Because it just makes you seem like, and even Yandy said it, it makes you seem ungrateful. It makes you, like it says, after all the stuff that I did while you were locked up because of what you did, you gonna sit up there and you can't even lie out of your mouth and say you'll do the same for me? You know what I mean? Because like Yandy says, once this airs, the entire world and brigade is going to follow with this, and now be like, oh, you're a dummy because you are, or you held down this man who wouldn't even hold you down, or you're still with him, or it's just certain things on television. You just even like just to give off. Sometimes it's all about giving off the oppression, and sometimes sometimes you have to be willing to just lie and then deal with the rest later, because that just was not smart at all. It was not smart for him to say that. But next we see Rashida at her house. She's throwing a little barbecue shindig thingy. It's her, Kirk, Shirley, her mom, her sister Booby, and Booby daughters, Rashida, two nieces there. It's crazy to me that we have been watching these people for 10 years, and as much as we think we know about them, we know so little about them, because like you would have never ever known Rashida had a sister, or like even when Carly was talking to her daughter later on in the episode about her baby daddy, it was like you never ever heard Carly talk about that man after 9 seasons. But you can tell that they are getting, it's only so much of a storyline that they can have these days. So you can tell they're like, fuck it, we just gotta open the can of worms and see what comes out. But anyway, yeah, so Rashida and her family and Kirk, they're all sitting down or whatever. I believe Booby started it off by asking, since they're experimenting with family visits and family galleries, family meetings, whatever, will this include holidays? And you can tell that Booby is just a woe is me type person, that she is, that you could literally give her $500, but she'll complain that it was only half of $1,000. So she needs more, and it's like, well, you could, you don't have, you can just take what you got, and but anyway. So Rashida and Rashida basically starts stating facts, how she's all, Booby and her family and her kids are always invited. They were invited, I believe they said something about last Christmas, last Thanksgiving. One of Booby's daughters, they say that they decided that they did not come because they did not want to, because they was mad at Rashida because Rashida went off on her. This triggers Rashida to then bring up the money situation, and I don't think people realize that I don't think people realize, especially family. Family doesn't always realize what they do. I think family just always they realize what you do, but they don't ever realize what did I do, because we're family. So they're not ever looking at what they're doing as being wrong. They're just looking at it, as oh, we're looking out for each other. But and I will say, it is wrong of Rashida or even Shirley, the way they get on television and speak about Booby and or all even if they do beg for money every day, you don't get on television and say that because this is still your family, and I'm pretty sure you still give them the money. So don't do that. You can say oh they always need but it's just to constantly say they're always asking you for money. It's like we get it. You have the money, they don't. They need it. We get it. We get it. Rashida starts saying, how, the apparently she gave the daughters money, but apparently they lied to her and said they lost the money order at QT, but she still saw them on Instagram with the money. I don't know. I don't get it. But apparently they lied to the girl. They lied to Rashida about a money order that she wrote out to them, which is found, especially black. Like when people know you have money, things change, attitudes change, and actions change, and that's why you just have to be very careful and very cautious. Very cautious. Booby says how she believes Shirley put things into her head about Rashida, and I could definitely see that, because you could definitely see that Rashida is the golden child. Of course, I'm showing Shirley eyes, but also you can tell that Booby is a mess as well. So it's part of how Booby is, and another part of how they see her. Everybody has to sort of come to a common ground. Booby has to stop acting like a 16-year-old whose emotions are just all over the place and has no accountability. But also they have to stop treating Booby like she is a crackhead who has stolen every piece of furniture out of the house. It's all about balance. Ooh, child. I'm gonna go through this really briefly with Carly and her daughter. We see Carly and her daughter working out allegedly. Carly starts talking to her daughter about how she wants to tell her about her dad. Why the fuck, after all these years, will Carly decide on this random ass summer day that you want to now tell me in front of the cameras about my dad, when you could have told me about this man in private over dinner? You could have told about him any other time. But Carly decided to tell her daughter about what really happened with her dad. I was very invested because I have no clue who Carly baby daddy is. So apparently Carly was with this man in LA. Apparently the man got caught up by his life. Like, this is what Carly said. The man got caught. His former life before Carly caught up with him. He went on the run and never came back to Carly and told her that he can't come back. She's on her own, blah, blah, blah. She ended up sending Jasmine, her daughter, with her mom. And I guess the man went to jail and never got back in touch with Carly or his daughter at all. That's the tea. And that makes a lot of sense why Carly doesn't talk about him. And it just makes so much sense why I guess she is the way she is with men, maybe. We don't know. But I just thought that was really, really, really idiotic for Carly to have that if she already hadn't told Jasmine prior and this was just a repeat for the cameras, why would you do that? Next we see Safari's mom at his house showing up finally to see the baby and Erica and all that stuff like that. Her and Erica start talking. And you can tell Safari's mom is very Jamaican, very real, just very, very, very much so Jamaican. She just lets Erica know that Safari is a good person. It's just all his life he's been hiding behind jokes, and that's that's what he uses to hide all his emotions and everything, which makes a lot of sense with Safari. Like you could definitely see Safari was the class clown. Safari was just the guy who you can never ever have a serious conversation with because every single thing to him was comical. And people like that, they're dealing with a lot of stuff within themselves. So in order to not deal with it, they make everything funny. or they're just, or like how Safaree said, he's brutally honest or he's blunt, or they're just very harsh with their words. Because they think that by being brutally honest, it's ending the conversation and just allowing people to feel however the way you made them feel. And just like, no. Not everything's a joke, and just because you told me you don't give a fuck if I die doesn't mean that we're not going to continue to talk about this conversation. So Safaree's mom was definitely, she's definitely that person who gets him in check and needs to be around him to keep his head level, because he doesn't have a level head at all. You can tell. I don't think Safaree's dad was in his life, which makes a lot of sense. So he really is just like a little kid. He lived like a little boy in a grown man's body, just running around, living life, and not really knowing which direction to go in. And you can tell his mom definitely knows that Safaree is bad, because even when she told Eric, she was like, you can stay or you can leave, but I'm just hoping that you guys stay together, because it's obvious that this man is really bad, and he's obviously really bad when he's gone on the internet and said all these things about her, and his mom has seen it. So finally, we see Yandy and Mendeecees having the conversation with Infinity. Now, they start the conversation off with Infinity sort of just, by letting her go first. And of course, I'm sure Infinity can tell, even before Yandy walked into the room, she could tell what was going on. So she immediately goes into, I just came here to right my wrongs. I just want to, you guys be able to trust me again, blah, 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 all that good stuff like that. So of course now Yandy and Mendeecees are thrown, because they're like, oh shit, damn, she's humble, she's came humble, she's on her knees. So what do we do? So of course they eased into the apartment, which I don't get why a 19-year-old or 20-year-old is so. I mean, maybe I just haven't went through the emotional trauma and distress that Infinity has went through as a child, or just as a child and as a teenager. But if anybody was offering to give me my own place and my own space at 19, and I'm sure they're gonna make sure it's a nice ass apartment in the city, I'm not about to be crying because I want to stay here and live with y'all. Like, no. Like, but once again, Infinity obviously has a lot of trauma behind her and a lot of history behind her, so you can't compare the two. But he's just too old. And even Infinity said herself in her confessional, she said, and I get, as you may have had to been grown before, even before you were grown. So it makes when you do grow up and be, so it makes when you have to grow up and be grown a little bit harder. But it's like, nonetheless, you have to grow up and you have to move out of your parents' house, or move out of your your foster parents' house. You're getting at a certain age, like 19, 20. If I just don't believe in a 19, 20-year-old staying with their parent. Like, unless you're like in college and you're like, really like on the path to something great, then yeah. But if you're literally just like not really doing anything, adios, like deuces. Like get your shit together, because you're an adult. And that's the problem, is that if Infinity was their child, I'm sure it wouldn't be this much of a conflict. But Infinity, we did not know you when you were born. They weren't in the emergency room or in the hospital room. So, the older you get, you're just gonna be like a grown ass adult living in our house playing with our kids. It's gonna be a little weird. So I completely and 100% agree with the whole apartment thing, because once again, I would love it. I'd be like, well, shit, and y'all gonna pay the rent for 2 months? I'd be like, make it 3, and we could work something out. We could really, because 2 months, I don't know. We could work something out after 3 probably. But the kicker was when Mendeecees got up and left when Infinity started crying. Because like I said before, Mendeecees leaves everything on Yandy, because he obviously doesn't, I don't want to use the word resent, because that's a big word, but he obviously blames Yandy for all of this drama with Infinity. So he pushes all of it on Yandy to make her feel the burn. Like, you did this, you hold it and you wear it and you look at it and you and you admire what the fuck you caused because Yandy adopted her. Well, I mean, Desus was gone. She made that decision to bring in another person into their life, and look what's happened. You know, so I don't know what they're gonna do with Infinity. I think Infinity needs to really get therapy. She needs to get real hardcore therapy because no teenager should be crying about a person saying that they're going to get them their own space. I get that you've been abandoned, but what do you do in college? Well, I guess she has a roommate in college. I don't know. They got to get that together with Infinity because it's a mess. It really is. It's a mess, and she's a mess. Like, get it together. But this episode was it was all right for me. Wasn't really too much interesting going on. There was no young baby Tate, so that sucked. But yeah, I give it a C. Cause I could have cared less to see Carly on it. I mean, to see them on the yacht. I could have cared less to see. It was something else. I was like, wow, I could really skip through this. I can't think of it. But thank you guys for watching. I'll be back next week with a new review. I'm debating on doing Housewives of Potomac. If I do, for a fact, this is my last week debating. So if I do decide this week to do it, I have a video up when the new episode comes out Sunday. If you guys don't see a video, just know I said fuck it. But thank you guys for watching. See you guys later.